Yes, and we are live. Awesome. Hi, everybody, and how are you doing? And welcome to this session where we're going to be discussing different ways that. Okay, I'm just going to mute my video. Sorry, my audio. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to be discussing different ways that you can sell your middle ticket online courses, prices anything between £100 and £1,000. You could easily generate a few £1,000s a month alone off of online courses, and I'm just going to be taking us through this over the next probably half hour or so. I'm going to be sharing with you how I've done it and some of the different ways that you can do this and start generating lots of sales for your online courses. Just give me a moment, folks. What I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and share this in the Profit from Coaching Facebook group so members of the community can access this live session as well. So bear with me as I bring it up, and once I've shared it in the group, then we're going to get into things straight away. Awesome. All right, brilliant. So there we go. So you do that, come here. Okay. That's it. Awesome. All right. It's looking good. Brilliant. Okay, so my name is DJ Sobanjo, and I'm the founder of Profit from Coaching, a company focused on helping coaches, speakers, trainers, consultants to be able to generate a full-time income around your passion of helping other people. Online courses have been a key part of helping us get to where we've gotten to at Profit from Coaching, and also help me to be able to generate income and enable sustainable income that have helped us grow Profit from Coaching to where it is right now. So I think what I'm going to do first of all, I'll just quickly talk about the value of an online course. Then I'll share my story, highlighting some of the different ways that I've been able to sell my courses online and being able to generate sustainable income, a full-time income that helped me, enabled me to keep on doing what we're doing to grow PFC, Profit from Coaching, to where it is today. Now, online courses, and we're not going to be going into the detail of how to create an online course. On Thursday the 21st of July, there is a webinar. Our Thursday, we have a weekly webinar in the Profit from Coaching community. And this week, we're going to be looking at how to design, how to create, and how to set up online your course. But today, we're going to be looking at how we can get sales, once it's online, once we've created it, some of the different ways that we can generate buyers. Now, first of all, let's try to understand why an online course is really great. Now, there's a lot of emphasis on writing books, and I think that's a cool thing because a book is a very useful tool to help you establish your authority in the space that you work. And if you haven't written a book, it's something that you should consider. However, if you asked me from a business perspective, which should you do first, write a book or create an online course? I won't even think twice about it. Without a shadow of a doubt, I would recommend that you go ahead and create an online course. Now, question: why would I recommend creating an online course before writing a book? And I'm going to explain really from a financial perspective why it's a better option. If you're writing a book, the price, what I call the standard price for most books, is about £10. Yes, you could sell it for £15, or you could push it and sell it for £20. But the ideal price, the price that people are conditioned to believe a book is worth, is about £10. Now, question: how many of those books would you need to sell in a month in order to generate a full-time income? So let's just say, you're in a very, you have a very, very low financial commitments, so you don't have a significantly huge outlay. So maybe your monthly outgo is, let's say it's £3,000. Okay, so your monthly outgo is £3,000, meaning you spend £3,000 every month just to sustain your current lifestyle. Now, if you have a £10 book, you would need to sell 10 of these a day. Think about that. 10 of these a day in order, sorry, what am I saying? If you have a 10-pound book, you would need to sell 300. I'm just going to correct myself there. You need 300 of copies of your book in order to generate £3,000 a month. Now, if you've never written a book before, I'm just going to let you know that is a lot of books. Most people who publish a book never sell more than 100 in the lifetime of that book. Okay? They never sell more than 100 books during the lifetime of that book. But not only that, if you're selling a book for £10, right? How much is your profit margin on the book? Because there isn't a lot of money to play with. So if you have a £10 book, you probably, you will need to have a marketing budget. That's the thing. You see, this is another thing. If you're going to sell anything online or even offline, you will need to have a marketing budget, which is the cost, the marketing cost to get that book in the hands of one consumer. So think about it. If it's £10, how much could you afford to spend to market that book? Well, let's say you spend £5. So if you're spending £5 to market a book, right? Then then that means you would need to sell. Let me do the math now. 600 copies of that book in order to generate an income of £3,000. Now compare that with an online course. Standard prices for online courses are about, £250, £297. Now, that is how much people are conditioned to believe an online course is worth. Now, yes, there are cheaper ones. You can sell an online course for £100. You can sell an online course for for £600, £700, £800, £1,000. But the standard price for an online course is about £300. Okay. Now, how many of these do you need to sell to generate £3,000? Well, 10, technically. However, again, you might need a marketing budget. The good thing now is to sell one course, you could afford to spend maybe £100 on marketing to sell one course, which means you would now need to sell the math about 15 of these, right? 15 times 20, yes. You'll need to sell 15 of these to generate £3,000. And I'm going to tell you right now, having sold both books and online courses, that it's much easier, significantly easier to sell 15 online courses than it is to sell 600 books. In fact, I'm even going to go as far as saying that it's easier to sell 15 online courses than it is to sell 100 books. Definitely. Okay? And that's the reason why if you are looking to really start to generate the cash flow that will enable you to stay in this place and grow your business, online courses are a very powerful way for you to generate an income. What about for the end users, right? When you create an online course, it usually would be a combination of video, worksheets, maybe audio. And so for people who learn in different ways, it's a combination of a lot of useful information and useful tools, which does mean, right? What does that mean for you? It means that it's for the consumer, for the end user, not only does it have a higher perceived value, but as far as productivity and results are concerned, people tend to get better results when they consume an online course than they do when they read a book. Okay, it's just the way things work. So you can see there that for you, as a coach, speaker, trainer, or consultant who is looking to generate cash flow, it makes a lot of business sense for you to consider creating an online course. Also, for the folks who are going to be consuming your stuff, for the folks who you're serving, an online course will help them get their results quicker and faster because there's an opportunity for them to engage with your content in different ways. Okay, so it pretty much makes a lot of sense to consider creating your own first online course. By the way, if you have any questions, just type your questions in the chat box. I will be alternating between the Profit from Coaching page and the Profit from Coaching group just to check. And so if there's any questions, I will try to make sure that we get all of your questions answered. Okay. All right, great. Now, let me start by telling you my story. I left my job. I was working in London. as a management development specialist, and I've been working here for a few years. 2011, towards the end of the year, I made that decision to walk away from my full-time job and focus on building my business. So this has been in my mind for a while. I've been thinking about it, planning it for years, and this was the right time for me to make that transition. However, I didn't, and I should have. I should have planned my exit a lot better. I didn't, and I've got to be honest, I wished I'd planned my exit a lot better, but I didn't. I should have, but sometimes, you know what, we make mistakes. But the good thing is we can learn from our mistakes. And I did learn from my mistake. And the big mistake that I made was, even though I had been thinking about it, I had been considering it, I didn't really plan it as well as I should have. And that's the honest truth. And I'm going to put my hands up and say I didn't. So, and like a lot of people, I was just driven by passion. This passion to pursue my dreams, this passion to do the things that have been laid in my heart to do those things which are really, really important to me. But I hadn't really considered where my money was going to come from. I had an idea. I will say I did have an idea, but I had not really properly considered where my income was going to come from. Now I found myself in a place where I still had my financial commitments. I had my bills to pay. I had my mortgage to pay. I had my family obligations. And there wasn't a lot of cash flow. About the same time, and this is how I accidentally created my first online course. About the same time, a few other people, I had created a course, a free online course, sometime in 2007, 2006, 2007, which I called the Free Internet Business Course, which basically was an email course that I created, just showing people how to set up and start a business online. And using affiliate marketing, I was able to generate some good income off of that course. But the course was obsolete. So about that time, I did an updated version of the course. And then one of the people who subscribed to the course got back to me and they said, DJ, this is useful, but could you create a more detailed course, something that goes into more detail, a step-by-step program that we could follow that would help us to get started online? By the way, I am sweating like crazy here. The windows are open, and all that, but it's hot here in Kent today, and so folks, just bear with me, right? Yes. So as I was saying, and they said, well, can you do something? And that was where the idea for an online course that I could create, guiding internet business newbies to getting started online with their first internet-based business. And so I began to think about a program, and this is where the idea for a 21-day program, which is just little steps of action that they could take every day for 21 days, and by the time you're through, you would have your own internet business set up. And this was where the idea for the 21-day internet business home study program, which was my very first online course, came to me. Okay, now so I went ahead and I created this course. Created the course and sold it. I think I made a few £1,000s during the launch. I'm going to go into some detail. Don't worry, I will give us a little more information about that. But the thing, and it was there, and it was just generating some cash flow for me. However, the next year for me was a very challenging year in business, because this is where I was looking to really make certain transitions from working in one particular space to working in another. And it was really, honestly, it was really, really very challenging for me. It was very, very challenging for me from a financial perspective, but because I stopped building a particular business, my cash flow really suffered. And, it got to a place where I was really thinking, can I keep on doing this? Can I continue here? Maybe I might need to go and get myself a job, because, I have responsibilities as a father and as a husband. But about that time, I then thought to myself, well, I have an online course which I created last year. And the people who did take the course, I had a lot of feedback, a lot of very positive testimonials from people who had bought the course and had used it and had started to generate some income for themselves just by following what I shared on the course. And this is when I thought to myself, why don't I just go ahead and, just sell it, right? And that's exactly what I did. And, we generated some very strong 5 figures that year, 2013, off of the sale of just that one course. That was the one course that I was selling, the 21-day internet business. In fact, if you go to, I think it's 21-day internet business course.com. It's a very long domain name. The course is still sitting there. I don't really promote it anymore, but that was the course that saved my business in 2013. Right? At the time, the list price for the course was £897. And even though we did sell it at that price, a lot of people who did buy the course bought it significantly cheaper. And I'm going to really just break that all down. I'm going to share that with you here in the next few minutes, just showing you exactly how I did it and some of the ways that I generated sales. Okay, so let's go into it straight away. So the very, very first way that I generated sales from my online course was from the launch, right? So I did an initial pre-launch, and this is something that you can do for your online course. If you do have an online course, it's a very powerful way for you to start to generate income. So how did I do it? Very, very simple. What I did was, before I even created the course, before I even created it, I did a webinar for my community. So I built up a community from time. And I also remember I promoted the webinar using WhatsApp at the time. I promoted the webinar using SMS text messaging to all of my contacts. And I said, hey, come along to this webinar, which was titled, How Money is Really Made Online and How to Get Yours. I can still remember the title of the webinar. So it was a free webinar where I was going to be sharing with people how money is really made online and how to get yours. And that was the title. Okay, so we ran the webinar, and during the webinar, I shared with them, basically, I demystified, because obviously I've worked in this space for a while. So for you, it all depends on who your target market is and what the topic of your expertise is. I've been building business on the lines online since about 2003. So I had learned a few things. Okay, so I remembered running that webinar. And at the end of the webinar, I talked about this course I am going to be creating. And I said, this course, and I broke it down. I helped them understand why I was creating it. I explained how it was going to help them and who it was for. And I said it was for internet business newbies. And I really went through, what they're going to get and what it was going to enable them to do. And I told them that when we launched it, it was going to be launched for £897. But I made a really ridiculous offer during the pre-launch webinar. And I basically said, if you got it now, right, because, if you get it before we create the course, I'm offering a ridiculous discount. And I told them why, because they were going to be my elite people. And I sold it for £100. That was it. Before we even launched it, I said, hey, you know what? For £100, you will lock in this particular course. And not only that, as I'm creating the content, right, you will be engaging with me. I'm going to be available to give you support. And that was it. And I think we had about 20-something people buy. Before I'd even created the course, I'd already made about 2,000 something. Okay, which was really exciting. I'd never created an online course before, and having that many people buy from the very first webinar convinced me that I had a winner. Okay, so now after I sold it, then I had to create it, and I went ahead and I designed the course. Don't worry, on Thursday during our weekly online training, I'm going to break it down for you, how to design, how to create, and how to set up your online course. I'm going to share that with you on Thursday. So I went ahead and I created the course and I set it up online. Okay, and that was basically the first way. So the first way that you can sell your online course is actually do a pre-launch sale. Sell it before you create it. It's a very powerful way. Not only do you make money, but it helps you to validate your idea. Because remember, at the time, for me, all it was an idea. That's all I had, right? And I brought a few people together. I taught them a little bit, and then I introduced them to the program, let them know I was going to be launching it. I had 20-something people, can't remember the specific, it was 20-something people buy, and I made over £2,000 before I'd even launched the program. That gave me a lot of confidence, one. Number two, now that I'd sold it, I was obliged to create it, right? They paid me for it, so now I had no choice. I had to sell it, okay? And that was cool. So I went ahead, and I created the course. And so the very first way that you can sell an online course is actually just by doing a pre-launch. Webinars are really cool because you can have people come in from wherever they are, all over the world, and you don't need to travel anywhere. You don't need to hire venues and do any of that fancy stuff. And it's a very, very cost-effective way of actually generating sales and validating what it is you're doing before you even go ahead and create your program. Okay. All right. So moving forward, let's look at the other ways that I've been able to generate sales from my online course that you can as well. Okay. Now the second way is speaking at events. I did get a fair number of invitations to speak at events at the time on different topics. Okay, so whether it was just speaking for half an hour or sometimes for a whole day, depending on where and what. And so I remembered, actually, I'll share this specific instance, which is probably going to bring it home for you. A friend of mine, a very, very good friend of mine, who's an author, an amazing guy. He actually has written about 5 or 6 books. He was invited to come along and speak at an event. I'm just going to share this with you so you can see the value of an online course. And he asked if I could. He told them that he has a friend who's a really amazing speaker. He was talking about me, right? And he asked if both of us could come along, and they agreed. So on the day, we went to speak at this event, and he had this book. I can't remember the title. I think it's something about the comeback, which is about people who've gone through challenges and had and failures, and who came back from those challenges. A really, really good book, right? And so the two of us spoke at this event. He had his book, which he sold for I think £7. Really good book. And at the time, I had my online course, which is a different online course I created later, which was called the Setup for Flight Career Acceleration Program. Okay, so we went to this particular event. It was an event about something to do with career growth and maximizing your career. And we enhanced them, and we really shared value. And it was a very small audience. I don't think we had more than maybe 30 people in the audience. It was a very small audience. Okay, now he had his book, which was £7. I had my online course, which was £200. Okay, so we shared with them. We normally would, and we really shared some really useful information that I do believe would have made a big difference. At the end, he made an offer for his book, and I think he probably got about maybe 15 sales of his book at the time. And I made an offer for my online home study program, which was £200, and I think I got about 6 or 7 sales. Okay, so from that event, he had about 15 sales. So 15 times 7, do the math. I think that's probably about £100, right? And I got how much? About 6 times 200, 1,200. And I remember on the drive back home, he says, DJ, he says, now I understand, because on the drive there, I was talking to him about the value of having an online course because he drove me there. On the drive back, he says, DJ, I get it now. He said, I get it, right? We spoke at the same event. I don't think I was better than him. I think we both added value to the audience. I think we both made a difference. Okay. From a financial perspective, though, he had made £100. I had made about £1,200. Both of us spoke combined for about 90 minutes. So speaking at events is a very powerful way to generate sales of your home study programs. Now, what I tend to do is this. When I speak at events, and please hear me, I make offers that are only available for that audience at that event. That particular home study program is normally £300. Okay, it's $297. So at that event, they had the opportunity to get that course at a £100 discount, and it was only available there. So I introduced scarcity, and that's a very useful tactic. If you have an online course and you want to sell it at live events, it's a very, very powerful way for you to generate sales. So, people say, well, I don't talk for free. Well, that's up to you. You know, there's nothing wrong with having that philosophy. But if you do know that if you go and talk, you could generate, you know, anything from £1,000 to £10,000, maybe even more. If you have a home study course that that is aligned with what you're speaking about, would you do it for free? I think it's a good thing to do if you do have something like that, right? So again, you know, books are really cool, and I think, you know, I would give my books away for free. I'll be honest with you. If I wrote a book, I'll give it away for free. You know, it's a cool thing. It's a very powerful validation tool. But as an income source, it's not really great as an income source. That's my advice. I think it's a really powerful thing. So I talked about doing a pre-launch webinar. I also talked about what's the second thing I talked about? Speaking at live events. That's another cool way for you to generate sales of your online course, okay? If you speak at 2 events a month, and you generate, you know, again, maybe 6 sales from each event, hypothetically, I mean, that was a small audience. If you have a larger audience, you should be generating, you know, anything from 10 to 20 sales, okay? Good. Now, a third way that I generated sales of my online course, that particular one, I've created a few since then, but I'm just going to focus on that one. So the third way, by the way, folks, if you do have any questions, go ahead and just type in your questions. And like I said, I do promise I am going to answer them. Also, do me a favor, right? Because this is where it gets a little freaky when we do these live broadcasts. If you can still hear and see me, just type in the chat box that you can. I do get a little panicky sometimes because I'm going on and I'm not even certain whether you can actually hear me or not. So just do me that favor and just let me know by typing in the chat box that you can still see and you can still hear me. Okay, great. Third way, which is a slightly more sophisticated way, but it's a lot of fun, is automated webinars. And I'm going to explain that and how I did it. So what I did was this, right? After I'd launched the course and I'd taken my elite people through it as I created it and as I generated the testimonials, so I knew that the product was brilliant from the feedback I got from the people who had consumed it. The next thing that I did, right? So the next thing that I did was I then went on to go and run another webinar. So I ran another webinar and I used paid advertising to promote it. And I spread the word. Okay, so I run another webinar, and I used, at the time, it was Facebook ads that I used to promote it. And I had a ton of people who registered. And I ran the webinar live, and at the end, I made the offer for my 21-day Internet Business Home Studies program, which was my online course. And again, I offered a special discount during the webinar, which was only available during the webinar, okay? And again, I can't remember the number that attended, but I know 30%. 30% of those who showed up actually bought the course. Okay, so I knew that the conversion rate for that particular webinar was 30%, which is not bad. Actually, let me change that, which is very good. Okay, so it was a very good webinar and it converted well. So running live webinars is another way that you can generate sales of your online course. But I took it a step further. What I then did was I then took that online webinar and I repackaged it as an automated webinar. Automated webinars were not very popular then. Actually, webinars were not as popular then as they are now. We're talking 2012, okay, going into 2013. And this was the really exciting one, especially in 2013 when I really began to drive this. I remember this particular situation. I was at the cinema with my wife. We were watching a movie, and then my phone buzzed. It was on vibrate. So I picked up my phone and I saw an email from someone. And there was an email saying, "Oh, thank you very much. I really enjoyed what you shared here tonight." And I was thinking, what's this person going on about? I didn't share anything. And then it clicked for me, right? You know, what had happened, okay? That they must have attended the webinar. So I went, as I usually do, and I checked my email inbox, and there were quite a number of PayPal notifications. While I was at the cinema enjoying the movie, my system was working for me. My automated webinar was selling my online course for me. And that's another powerful way, is if you've run a webinar where you've added value and you've sold your online course and it worked very well, you can take that webinar and repackage it as an automated webinar, and this gives you very amazing leverage because it does the selling for you. And this was really, really great. This was, for me, it was, just having that happen consistently. I know the webinar ran three times a week, so 3 times a week I was always expecting to receive PayPal notifications from people who had bought my 21-day internet business home study program. Okay, so I was building my email subscriber list, but at the same time, I was also generating buyers of my online course, which was really, really cool. Finally, I'll just share this last one with us, right? These are the primary ways that I was able to generate buyers for my 21-day my online course, okay? And this one was joint venture. And this basically was, what I did was this. I had a program that I know made a difference for people. So just like you will have your own online course, okay? So you have your online course that makes a difference for people, just like I did. And what I did was I began to connect with and approach people who I knew were building communities. Okay, we're building communities that I knew that my online course would add value to, and I approached them, and my approach was really very simple. It would just something along the lines, hey, how are you doing? Connect with them first, build a relationship if I don't have one already. If we do have a relationship, then I might just go straight to the point. Then at some point during the conversation, and I would have conversations with them, I don't just reach out and say, hey, I've got this online course, we could JV together. I didn't do it that way because a lot of people struggle. They don't know how to approach potential joint venture partners, right? And what I do is I connect with them, and we connect, we get on the phone. Sometimes we actually do meet up, and we talk about stuff, and I look for ways I can help them. So if they're in business, I might just, look at sharing a few things that could enhance what they're doing, help them to get some better results. So whoever it is you're looking to JV with, before you bring in your amazing online course and all that wonderful stuff, first of all, ask yourself, how can I genuinely enhance this person? And you can do that for anybody, even if they're more successful than you are. There are ways you can enhance them. If you promoted them to your community, if you talked about them, if you shared their stuff, if you retweeted their stuff, and you went and talked about some of the things they're doing, there's things you can do, to get onto their radar and to begin to build a relationship, to create a connection with them, right? And so I did that. And then, having done that, what I then did was I then at the right time, I would then introduce my home study program and say, hey, guess what? I created this program called the 21-Day Internet Business Program. And 2 things. I want to give it to you as a gift, right? It's a £900 online study program, which is focused on, and I tell them what it's all about. I want to give it to you as a gift. So I offer it to them as a gift. I say 2 things. I want to give it to you as a gift. Second thing is, I want you to go through it, right? And if you see the value of it, I'd like us to partner together, right? And the way it's going to work is we partner together, and I share with them, we set up a webinar. Don't worry about the tech stuff. I will set it up for you. And all we need to do is you invite your people to attend this webinar where I'm going to share how money is really made online and how they can get some for themselves. And the whole idea is we run the webinar together, and at the end of the webinar, I make an offer for this home study program. And if they buy, we split the income 50-50. And that for me was really the big game changer. A lot of the coaches that I have a good relationship with today, especially those who I've known since about 2013, we did these JV webinars together. And I was doing, about 3 or so every month. And it was fun. It was really great fun. It was fun for them. It was fun for their people. And it was fun for me. It was fun for them because, 1, they made money. Number 2, they were able to bring something of value into their community. It was good for their people because they attended this really useful webinar. And those of you who do know me know that my philosophy is simple. Even if people do not buy, I want them to get so much value from the webinar that the next time we host one, they'll want to show up. So yes, you do want to sell something, and this is not this is not where I share with you how to run webinars that work. We can cover that some other time, right? But that is a key lesson there if you're looking to run webinars, right? So we did do that, and ran the webinars, and their people did buy. So I was happy, they were happy, and their community was happy as well. And this was generating for me, a lot of money. So there we are. These are, how many have I shared with us? I think I've shared. The first one is a pre-launch webinar, which is a fun way to sell your online course before you even create it. So you haven't even created the online course yet, but you're already generating sales, number one. Number two is speaking at live events, right? If people invite you to an event, as long as it's the right audience, right? Yes, sometimes you're going to get paid to speak for an audience. Just let them know that, you're going to be making an offer at the end of the webinar. I mean, at the end of your session. Make them aware of that. You add value like you normally would, and then introduce your online course. Let them know what they're going to get, and again, offer it at a special price that is only available, an exclusive price for them there and then at the event. Scarcity is really important because a lot of people, they need a little extra to move them to take action, and scarcity works very, very well. The other way, so that's two ways. The third way is running live webinars. Running live webinars is a brilliant way to get people to come together, enhance them, add value to them, and then go ahead and make your offer at the end. The fourth one, which is a fun one, because you take a live webinar that converts very well, and you repurpose it as an automated webinar. You can have it running 2, 3, 4 times a week, and then just drive traffic. And I was just driving Facebook traffic to my automated webinar, and it was just generating perpetual. It really was perpetual income for me. Every time it ran, it just generated sales while it was building my list at the same time. It was really, it's so much fun when you do this. Just think about it. You go to work like you normally would, because maybe you're working a full-time job. You get back home, spend time with your family, about 10 o'clock, time to go to bed. You pick up your phone and you notice that there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 PayPal notifications, people who bought your course while you were hanging out with your family. That is so, so powerful. Okay, and that's what happens when you use automated webinars. And then the final one is joint venture, but specifically joint venture webinars, where basically you partner with people who, you have the program, they have the community, they promote the webinar, and it's an interview style webinar, by the way. They interview you. So they bring, the thing is, the way it works is this: they bring the credibility, their people trust them, you bring the authority, you're the expert. So when you combine that, you will realize that you will get higher conversions than from automated webinars, because with an automated webinar, you may not have as much credibility as you will have with a JV webinar. And that's the reason why my JV webinars your JV webinars will have very high conversions. Why? Because they know that person, they trust them, right? They have a relationship of some sort with that person. However, that person brings you in, edifies and validates you. You share awesome value with them, and then you make the offer. And the combination of your authority and their credibility, right, will help you to generate a lot of sales off of live joint venture webinars. Right now, just imagine a combination of all of these. Now, again, let's put this in perspective. You have an online course. That's maybe £200, right? You sell one a day in a month, just one a day. So we're not looking at a ton of sales here, just one a day, right? That means in a month you sell 30. At £200, that is £6,000. For most people, that is full-time income off of one course. Right? Just think about that. Now think about a book. And again, I'm not knocking books, because I believe that books are very powerful. They're a very, very powerful tool, an amazing credibility tool. And you sell one a day. So if you've written a book, I think that's brilliant. Look at that book and look at repurposing it as an online course. So the book gives you the credibility while your online course makes you money, right? Just see it that way. It really is very, very powerful. It's a very, very powerful way for you to start generating very strong 5 to 6 figures a month in your business. If you don't have an online course yet, right, my question is, why don't you? Right? I want to encourage you to look at getting one done before summer's over, right? Before summer's over. Create your online course. Now, I did say this Thursday we're doing our weekly online training. I am going to be covering that. Okay, I should have had the link up and I didn't. I don't have it up, but it's not a problem because it's not going to take me forever. What I am going to do is I am going to get the link for those of you who are my subscribers anyways, it's not a problem because you are going to receive the email for you to go ahead and register for the webinar. Okay, but if you are not, I'm just going to get the link right now. Just going to get the link right now and I'm going to share it in the threads so you can go ahead and register straight away. We haven't even promoted this. Well, we are promoting it via Facebook advertising at the moment, but I haven't promoted it with our community just yet. So you're getting first dibs at this particular one. So let me just get the link here for you and I'll share it with you. Definitely want to attend this one. I'm going to be taking us through this Thursday. By the way, for those of you who may not be aware, every Thursday we run these webinars, the Profit from Coaching weekly webinars where we give away significant value for free for coaches, speakers, trainers, consultants who want to build their businesses. So I'm just going to go ahead now and share the link in the thread. Let me see. Hey, hi, Omo, how you doing? Okay. Okay, brilliant. All right, so I have just gone ahead and I have shared that with you there. Awesome stuff. Okay, so that's it, folks. I'm just going to leave it out open down for any questions or any thoughts. If you have any questions or you have any thoughts about what I've shared, just go ahead and just type it in the little chat box there. I just want to make sure I cover everything before we end this session. So questions or thoughts or contributions, if you want to say anything about what we've covered so far, or if you want to ask any questions about what we've covered so far, just go ahead and do that now, and then we're going to be ending in another minute or so. Okay, so I'm just checking to see if there's any questions or comments. And I'm having to check across the Facebook group and the Facebook page, but it's not a problem. Okay, I haven't had anything come through. If there's any other questions later on, that's fine. If I see any questions show up, I will come back to answer them. Thanks everyone for showing up. I really appreciate you all, and I hope this has been very useful. Go ahead and leave your comments. Go ahead and leave your thoughts. I've enjoyed this, and I hope that you have enjoyed it as well. Keep on being brilliant. Keep on being awesome. Keep on making a difference. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday, where we're going to be looking at how to design, create, and set up your own online course in 7 days or less. Yes, I know that's a big promise, but I'm going to show you how to do it in 7 days or less. And when I'm talking about designing the program, creating it, and setting it up online so you're ready to start selling. And I'm going to share with you how to do that in 7 days. That's what we're going to be doing on Thursday. All right, thanks everybody. I have enjoyed this. I hope you have too. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to continually serving you and helping you on the road to building a profitable full-time coaching, speaking, and training business. All right, you all are absolutely awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, I see. Hi, Fina. I can see you shared a comment. I'm going to look out for it very, very quickly, and then I'm going to end. Okay. Oh, brilliant. I'm looking forward to Thursday as well. Absolutely. Brilliant. What time? It's Thursday. All right, Faintola. What time? 9 p.m. UK time. 9 p.m. UK time. Yeah, that's the time. Awesome. Brilliant. Thanks, everybody. You all are awesome. You're all amazing, and I look forward to continually serving you. Let's keep on doing what we do. Let's keep making a difference. God bless you, and goodbye for now.